the emotional, the relational, the financial, the spiritual, like it's all the things. And if you are in a place where you're living in alignment with all of that, I believe that is where you will be the wealthiest. I believe that's where you'll be the healthiest. I believe that's where you'll be the happiest.
Yeah, living in alignment. So how do you start to live in alignment with this dream that you want to build?
Envision. Everything starts.
Welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. As always, I have an incredible guest. But before I introduce him to you, though, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been leaving comments, reviews, and likes on all the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, and to those who have been watching on YouTube as well. Thank you. And I want to ask you for a favor. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, some type of value, some type of information and insight, or a skill or the inspiration to go out and take action to move forward towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this episode with 10 people, since this is how we grow. This is how we're able to share our message in order to motivate, inspire, and bless other men out there, other entrepreneurs, and other people to change their lives. And today I have Darryll Stinson. He's a mental toughness speaker who specializes in helping high-performing leaders increase their performance and productivity from the inside out. And as a former Division I athlete who lost his career due to a severe back injury, Darryll overcame multiple suicide attempts and he went from that to becoming a best-selling author, award-winning marketing professional, and a 2 times TEDx speaker, with one of his talks grossing over 1.5 million views. And Darryl's ultimate goal in life is to be known for how he loves and how he gives. When he's not working, Darryll enjoys rapping, reading, entertainment, music, sports, exploring nature, and spending some time with his wife and 3 beautiful daughters. So, husband, father, entrepreneur, speaker, author, podcast host. Darryll, thank you very much for being here, man. I'm excited, and you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to dive in. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in and listening. This is going to be an amazing discussion. I'm so excited to just unpack some things of how to improve our lives, how to live more happy, how to be more free, how to be more expressed and authentic. This is the modern gentleman.
Awesome. So, man, the first thing that I do with my guest, I ask them to walk us through their entrepreneurial journey in 75 seconds or less.
Ooh, I love it. Such a challenge. All right. Oh, yeah, right. Hold on. Let me get my timer out. Because I want to make sure 75 seconds, you said.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I was born an entrepreneur, from trying to sell literal physical rocks that we painted, to starting my own lawn care business, to selling knives and Cutco cutlery, to finally realizing that I could make an income off of sharing my passion as a speaker. I've always been an entrepreneur because I believe that it is my highest form of service. 30 seconds.
How was that, man?
I don't know. That's what came up. So that's how I wanted to explain it.
Awesome. So, yeah, so that's cool, man. All right. So you've always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And like right now, you make an income out of sharing your passion and speaking. This is what you do, right?
Yes.
Cool. All right. And what is it that you're passionate to speak about? Well, there's a bunch of things, right? But what are some of the things? Maybe 1, 2.
My favorite thing to talk about is that people can get paid to live their dreams. I really believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree. What is your dream?
My dream is to create a world where people are united, happy, full of faith and love, where we trust one another, that your word is your bond, that we forgive one another as if it was us who have wronged the other person, and that we do for other people what we would want done for us.
That
That's
we
my
do
dream.
for other people what we wouldn't do for us?
No, that we do for other people what we would want done for us.
Got it. All right, cool.
Yeah, it's like do unto other people as you wish was done unto you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is your dream. And you're building it and you're getting paid for it.
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. All right. That's really awesome, right? Like so my dream is creating a world movement helping men become modern gentlemen.
I
And
love
I'm
it.
building it.
I love
And
it.
I'm getting paid for it.
I love it. I love
Right.
it. That's the
So
life.
yeah.
And
Man,
you're
I don't
happy.
work.
And again, that's just the career part, but there's a relational quality that comes with. There's a amount of personal lifestyle freedom that you have the opportunity to enjoy. Like all of it's encompassed of the dream life. It's not just career. It's the emotional, the relational, the financial, the spiritual. Like it's all the things. And if you are in a place where you're living in alignment with all of that, I believe that is where you will be the wealthiest. I believe that's where you'll be the healthiest. I believe that's where you'll be the happiest.
Yeah, living in alignment. So how do you start to live in alignment with this dream that you want to build?
Envision. Everything starts with a vision. If you don't have a vision, you don't know where you're going, where you're building, or what you're aiming for. You need a target. So envision what it is that you want on all those levels, because if you don't think through all the areas, what you'll do is you'll build success in one area and failure in another. Like for me, when I played sports, I originally only focused on that. And I had a dream around being a top athlete, and I was able to achieve part of that. But that was just one facet of who I was. And so when that didn't work out because I had a back injury, what that created was a confliction of like, what's next? What am I going to do when I kind of only had dreams in this one area? I only envisioned success in this one area. I don't think I'll be fulfilled by anything because I've spent all of my energy and emotion on this. And then I started to realize through sharing my story with other people that there was even a deeper level of fulfillment that I would get from something that I hadn't dreamed of before. And then I started dreaming of what that could be like. Man, what could happen if I could really speak and people could just have their lives be improved or impacted forever from a 30-minute, 60-minute, 13-minute, 15-minute video that I did or talk that I gave? And what if I can help other people like yourself and people who I think just have good messages, who are doing great things? What if I could help people with good messages doing great things, share more good messages and do more great things? Let's just do that. And that's what I've been able to do. That's why I did my TEDx talks. That's why I help other people do TEDx talks. That's why I host my own TEDx event. That's why I speak at colleges and corporations, associations. That's why I do community advocacy. It's just creating this world, and it's amazing. And everyone can do that too in their own way. For you, it's modern gentlemen. For someone else, it's the vision that they have, not just for their home, but of what their children can produce from being in a home environment like that. Like everybody doing that in their lane, that is the ultimate success to me. That's why success is not about a ladder that you climb, but it's about a vision that you achieve.
I like
And
it.
it starts within.
with a vision, with clarity, right? With
clarity and connection. Okay.
okay.
Clarity in terms of my vision. I want to envision where I want to go. Connection is I want to connect with those emotions today. I don't want to wait till I achieve the dream to feel happy. I don't want to wait till I have the house to feel successful. I want to feel successful today because I'm grateful for today. And when I connect and I have clarity and I take inspired action,
it's game over, man. Yeah, 100%. Right.
it's game over. And that's possible for anybody. And you mentioned a lot of stuff to me before we started recording about your story. And I know your stories on this podcast too. And I know many of the people who you have interviewed as well have similar stories of overcoming so much struggle in their lives. But the beauty in that is that it doesn't have to end that way. The beauty in that is that you do have the power within yourself and the resources around you and the relationships around you and the help that you're able to call on. You have the power to change your life. And you don't have to compare to anyone else. That's so amazing.
You don't have to compare it to anyone else.
No. If you do, then you'll never see your own beauty.
Yeah, exactly. Why fit in when you can stand out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone stands out. That's the crazy irony in it all. Everyone stands out in their own way. Like I'm 6'5".
Holy shit, really, man?
Yeah, I'm 6'5.5", right? And when I was getting recruited, I was 6'7", because they always pad the stats to make it seem like you're better, right?
Okay.
And there's a largeness to that, but there's a beauty to that. There's a whoa, wow, he stands out. I stand out in that. But I know people like my wife. My wife is like 5'3". My wife is like 5'3", but she has her own power.
Okay.
She has her own beauty. She's powerful, man. So in her own way, she stands out. That's what I mean. Everybody stands out in their own way.
Okay.
And the challenge is that sometimes when you say stand out, it's a trigger for some people who have felt like they weren't good enough. And that's where depression and stuff comes from, man. Like just a thought that I'm not good enough, that my future isn't meaningful and that it won't be bright, that I'll never see brighter days, or that today is not bright.
Not being good enough. The fear that, the vast majority of the world struggle with.
Yeah.
Not rich enough, tall enough, short enough, fat enough, skinny enough, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank.
But like,
not tough enough, not man enough, not financially savvy enough, not educated enough, not charismatic enough, not extrovert enough. On and on and on and on. Just a whole bunch of not enough. And that's why we live in lack. And that's why there's scarcity. And that's where the violence comes from. It's this perpetuating mentality of no, there's not enough to go around. So I'm either depleted or I'm defeated.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the only way for me to feel not defeated or depleted is to deplete someone else or defeat someone else. And that's where violence happens. And that's where anger, rage, and outbursts happens. And that's where alcoholism comes from. And that's the bad news. But the good news is that we can use our mindset, our energy, our time, our effort to point in the other direction and not create a downward spiral life and violence and anger and jealousy and hatred and revenge, betrayal. We could spiral the other way and say, I'm going to trust. I'm going to love. I'm going to forgive.
Yeah.
So when did you
realize, man, and how did you realize that you were good enough?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. For me, it's almost like a daily reminder because I think I've been through so much growing up that I have to remind myself daily that I'm enough, like daily. Maybe there will be a day where I don't have to remind myself of that. Maybe my trauma will be healed enough.
Mhm.
But, you know, trauma is an interesting word because we say it as if trauma means that we're broken. And I would respond that if trauma means that we're broken, it's because we're broken in all the right places. And I say that to mean that it's the yin and yang of life, that when I look at the most painful moments of my life, what I also see is my most powerful resilience. Like when I look at me when I was so pain and angry at my father and angry at my athletic directors and angry at my friends and angry at my parents and angry at everyone, when I looked at how angry I was at myself, I could get stuck in that spiral.
Okay. So you have to remind yourself that you're good enough daily, right? But because yeah, man, right? Like you know you have to. But when was it, right? Because a lot of people live feeling like intrinsically feeling that they're not good enough, and then they project that out into the world, right? They project that by treating other people as if they're not good enough because of their fear that they'll be catched, that they'll be like that people will find out that they feel not good enough, right? Not good enough, whatever. So most people walk around not feeling good enough, right? And you remind yourself that you're good enough every single day, right? But I mean, there had to be like a realization, right? Of like this shift that you made, this breakthrough of no, I am good enough. When was it, man, and how did you make it?
Yeah, it's so funny. I've told so many stories of that. And the reason why I said it's a moment by moment decision because yeah, I've had some key moments that you're like, when did it really happen? But what happens is people start to like think that that's what they need in order to change their life, right? So for me,
Okay.
it's like I had to hit rock bottom. I ended up in a psychiatric care facility. I was in Detroit, Michigan. I was like screaming at them to leave me alone. I just want to die. I had just went from 275 pounds to 219 pounds in 4 weeks. And I can tell you the whole story about why I was there, how I felt betrayed, how I had a back injury, how I had all my identity in that career. But that was an original awakening moment. And what happened is I just had two people come and talk to me about faith, and I developed a faith in God, and that changed my entire life and my history. Right. Because now I started to see that maybe there is a reason for my existence. Maybe I do have purpose and meaning in life. And then I switched and then I started to rebuild from that new identity of believing that I was enough. But in some ways, I was still building, trying to make up for lost time. I was still hoping that once I achieve it, I will feel it. And for years, I constantly lived like that. And I had a lot of success and I helped a lot of people and I made some good money, had great families, birthday parties, Thanksgivings, Christmases,
Yeah.
memories. It's not like my life was terrible. But 2 years ago, a year ago, I just got to this place where I realized, man, what am I chasing? What am I chasing? Is there a way for me to feel on top of the world today? Is there a way for me to feel enough today? Like without some dramatic experience or some hitting rock bottom or having someone, hit me in the gut with truth. I could just choose it today to feel like I'm enough, to believe that I can, to
Okay.
say I am enough. I'm strong enough to forgive. I'm healed enough to raise this family. I'm resourceful enough to build my business.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. Real quick, do you want to know how I've been using my podcast to build a multi-million-dollar network with over 100, 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, reach hundreds of my ideal clients with my message, coaching, service, and podcast, get invited to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months alone, through my own events, and have over 100 successful entrepreneurs being willing to speak at my events, become a millionaire in 1 year, get mentored by multimillionaires, and achieve goals that I thought were going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year, and ultimately get unstuck and make quantum leaps of progress in my business and life with less than 1 hour of work just by being myself. If you answered yes to any of those, I just want to invite you to a free training showing you how I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar network that is helping me achieve bigger income goals faster with only 1 hour of speaking and just being myself. To be honest, I thought I was going to be a multi-millionaire, speak on stages, throw my own events, and live a successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and impact in 10 years from now. That seemed so far away, but my podcast has been able to help me do that in less than 6 months. I'm actually doing all of that this year at the age of 21 with my podcast. I'm reaching thousands of people with my message, my service, my podcast, my coaching. I've gotten booked to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months. And on these stages, I'm going to be getting in front of hundreds of my ideal clients, making roughly around 15 to 30K plus per event. Not only that, I have a network of over 100 high-level, multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs who have all agreed to speak at my events. Getting clients is a problem of the past. I've gotten the opportunities to learn from billionaires, and I'm collapsing decades of time, and I'm literally achieving what I thought was going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year. All of this because I use podcasting as a networking tool, and I leveraged a rare concept called the cloak track. And I want the exact same thing for you. Just imagine where you could be in 1 year from now if you get this free training right now. That is why I'm inviting you to this training. On this short training, you're going to learn how a small group of purpose-driven entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, course creators, and speakers have combined podcasting with this rare concept called the cloak track to build a multi-million-dollar network, reach thousands of their ideal clients with their message, books, courses, coaching, make an extra $118,800, get booked on 10 stages, and build a successful network of entrepreneurs who speak on their stage, all of this in under 6 months. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps to make this work. Step number 1, alignment. Getting clear on who you want to be, what you want to do, your goals, your purpose, and aligning all of this with building your podcast and your ideal podcast guest. Step number 2, leveraging the cloak track to find your ideal podcast guest and never running out of them. Step number 3, leveraging the cloak track to close an interview with anyone, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem. And step number 4, the content machine. The content machine is the key to tapping into other people's audiences. And I'm going to show you all of those 4 steps. The link to access this free training is in the description of this video. Click on it and go watch this training right now so that you can learn how you can too build a multi-million-dollar network that helps you achieve bigger goals faster and with less effort. Note, this training is only available to 18 people, so act right now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
I'm confident enough to lead my community. I can choose that today. I don't need some big moment or a story about wanting to change. And I just want to empower the people with that, because that's where I'm at today. Every day I have to make that choice. I choose to feel like I'm enough. I choose to believe that I can, because as soon as I accomplish one goal, I'm just going to get a bigger goal.
Yeah.
So I have to build from a place of acceptance, of belief, of worth, and not for acceptance, for belief, for worth.
Cool, man. I like that. So then feeling on top of the world right now, instead of thinking that you're going to feel on top of the world when you get to a certain place, you can choose to feel on top of the world right now.
Yes.
Awesome. And is there any way how you can do that? Or
yeah, multiple ways. What's a dream you have?
What I told you right now, right? Like building this world movement, helping men become modern gentlemen.
Okay. Put a quantitative number on that. How many men?
Got it. 1 million men, let's say.
Okay, sure. 1 million. Okay. Think about that in your head. Imagine what it would be like to have that amount of community. They're listening to the podcast, the live show, they're sharing it with all their family, their friends, other men who they know are becoming modern gentlemen. They're wearing the t-shirts, they're rocking the gear. You're doing meetups, meeting them in different places. And you got different cities across the world that you're just meeting up with people like, oh, imagine that. Feel that? Do you feel
Yeah.
that? How does it
Yeah.
feel? How does it
Yeah.
feel?
It
How does
felt
it
good.
feel? How does it feel? Describe it.
It felt extroverted. Like I felt something coming out of my body. That's how
Okay.
I felt. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what could you do in your life consistently, daily, to feel that way?
I'm doing it every single day. I'm here with you.
That's how you feel on
Yeah.
a consistent basis. 90% of your day, 80% of your day, 70% of your day. Do you feel that way? 60%? What percent?
Almost 100% of the day.
That's the path.
That's how I feel every single day. I wake up ready to fucking go, ready to rock. I know where I'm going. I know what I want. And I'm every single day chipping away towards it.
Boom. That's the path.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's really cool, right? So I didn't ask for me, but I asked for, like for the audience, but
That's the best way. You're leading by example. Most people don't feel like that, man. You know that, right? That's what makes you who you are. But if I talk to the average person on the street at the grocery store, they would tell me, oh no, I feel terrible. I'm just trying to make it through the day.
that's crazy, right? Like people are trying to make it through the day, man. Like
Yeah,
what the hell does that mean?
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's why it's important for people like you to get your message out there even more. That's the only way to really make that a reality. Like the million minimum a reality is to go share it with more people.
Yeah, I agree. And all right. And I can do that through speaking. Actually, speaking in front of hundreds of people. I have a vision board here in front of me. And I see myself as a speaker, impacting, motivating, inspiring, and blessing millions, speaking in front of hundreds of people at events and stuff like that. Um, and being a speaker, I thought was something that was going to happen 10 years from now. Right. I'm 21 right now. And I thought that was going to happen 10 years from now. That seemed to be like something that was so far away, but it's happening this year, man. I've
Let's
gotten invited to
go.
speak at 5 events in the past
Wow.
2 or 3 months.
Let's go.
And I'm already right. So I'm already going to be doing that. I'm going to be throwing my own event this Q1 of 2023, and I have a network of over 100 high-level individuals, high-level entrepreneurs like you that are willing to come and speak at my event.
Let's go. Let's go. I love it. You're doing the work, man. That's why you're inspiring.
I'm putting the work. Man, this is my 4th interview today with modern gentlemen like you.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
There was a time where I was doing it and I had to shift into other stuff. But I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna relaunch a podcast. Yeah,
You had a podcast? What was it called? When I say yes?
Yeah, that old one. Yeah. I
Did you interview
recorded
people?
I recorded 20 interviews. I only released 2, and they were good. But I just got tired of saying when I said yes. I got tired of repeating that over and over again. So and then plus I don't know. I learned so much more, and so now I want a new topic.
Well, you didn't have you probably I don't know what, but you probably didn't have a vision. You probably didn't have a purpose. Like you didn't start with the end in mind, because like I can feel how there's not so much dopamine whenever I jump on interviews anymore. Like before, I had an interview and I was like, holy shit, like I'm gonna have an interview, right? And I'm literally doing like 15 per week. In the last I started my podcast 6 months ago, And this is like, I've done like about 120 interviews, man. Right. So like the dopamine levels are not there anymore, but like I have a clear purpose. Like I have a clear vision of where I'm going. So that is what driving me. Right. And like, I'm focusing on people, I'm focusing on relationships. And part of the reason why I'm able to achieve goals that I thought were going to take me 10 years this year, like building my business to $1 million by the end of the year, is because I'm focusing on people, on relationships, right? On learning from them and just, absorbing their mindset and the good things and all, and learning from the bad things and stuff like that. So yeah. And then I added something new, which got my dopamine, high again, which this past weekend I was meditating, and I was meditating and a name came to my mind, which was understanding a modern queen. And I just launched a podcast. It was this weekend, this Saturday, I was meditating, and that name came into my mind, Understanding a Modern Queen. And I just launched the podcast. And I've been trying to get Grant Cardone on my podcast. You know who Grant Cardone is, right?
Yep.
And I haven't been able to, but guess who I was able to get on my podcast? Elena Cardone.
I was going to say, Elena.
Yeah. And that's, so Understanding a Modern Queen will be interviewing modern queens, right? Because part of being a modern gentleman and a modern king is having your queen, next to you, like building this movement, building this empire, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to start interviewing the most successful, high level woman in the world, which I'm going to be calling Modern Queen, right? So that's why the podcast is going to be called Understanding a Modern Queen. And
Let's
that,
go.
it's like something new, it's like novel. And yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Let's go. Love it.
I'm building, like, I know what I want. I'm building for what I want, man. Like nothing is holding me back. I have a vehicle that helps me generate income right now in the meanwhile, while I build towards where I want to go. But I know where I want to go, and I'm building. I'm literally I'm talking to like the top people in the world. I've had 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure entrepreneurs on my podcast. So yeah, I'm building. Nothing is holding you back. So once you get clear, once you get that vision, like you talked about, and you connect, right? Once you get clarity and you connect with that vision, and then you start taking action, nothing can stop you.
Yep. And you feel it. And the thing about it is you've been doing it for so long, and it's normal to you. But what is foundational for you is revelational for other people. Right? Like you've been like, oh yeah, this is what you do. This is how you achieve success. This is how you move your life forward. This is how you live happy. This is how you keep achieving dreams. This is how you meet people that you never thought you would be able to meet, or that you've always thought you'd be able to meet. Like, this is how you do it. And people are like, really? What? And then that's why you're successful, man. And that's how they are successful too, when they just start to really believe in themselves and live like that every single day.
Not only am I successful, I'm happy and fulfilled.
Yes. Successful, happy, and fulfilled. One without the other is not true success, is not true happiness, or is not true fulfillment.
Yeah, man. So, man, I want to speak, on more stages. So how can I do that? Right? I know that you are, you know how to help me do that. So tell me.
What do you want to speak about?
Damn. Yeah, that was a great question, like right off the bat, right? There's a lot of things that I can speak about. I think my favorite the favorite thing that I would be speaking about right now would be how life and business are all about relationships, right? And how anything, like whoever it is that you're trying to be, whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever kind of life that you're trying to have, there's someone out there who is the type of person that you want to be, who's doing the types of things that you want to do, and who has the type of life that you want to have. And the easiest way for you to get there is to connect with a bunch of people who are there. And they call that the cloak track, right? And the way you can implement that is through podcasting, right? You can combine podcasting with this rare concept that very few people know about, called the cloak track, to build yourself a multi-million-dollar network of people who can become your clients, put you in front of hundreds or thousands of your ideal clients with your coaching courses, speaking, books, who can invite you to speak on their stage, just like it's happening to me, who you could invite to speak on their stage, and give you the opportunities and knowledge and skills that you need to achieve bigger goals faster and with less effort. That's what I would talk about. I think, right? That if you could give me like one thing that I would have to focus on, I would focus on that, because that would, add a fire to add a fuel to the fire that I already got going on.
Mm-hmm. So what I would do is I would shorten that to about 30 to 60 seconds tops.
Okay.
And I would say, who in the world needs to hear this message? And when I'll figure out so now I got what I'm going to talk about. Now I got who am I going to talk to? And then I just have those conversations. That's how simple it is. But here's the challenge. Here's why it doesn't happen. Common sense isn't always common practice. Okay. And just because something is simple doesn't mean it's easy. All right. So here's why that's more challenging than it sounds. Is because when I think about what I want to talk about, the problem is that we've overcome so much, or that we know so much, that we don't really know what's the most powerful message for us to share. And if we don't find the most powerful what, we'll never be the most powerful who. Here's what I mean by that. If I am training for a marathon, it's much different than if I am training for a triathlon, yes or no? Okay.
Yes.
If I'm preparing for which is harder, a 5K or a marathon?
Well, marathon, obviously, quote unquote,
okay.
right?
Okay. If I were to tell you, which one? Well, you're a go-getter. I forget you're gonna probably choose the harder thing. All right, let's go with this one. Do you think most people would rather do the hard thing? Okay, here's the right question. Would you prepare differently for a 5K than you would for a marathon?
Probably not.
Absolutely, you have to. 5K is easy.
You just do more of the same, right?
Well, 5K is way shorter. Marathon is 23?
26 miles.
26. Yeah. Marathon is what? 3.5 or 5K is how much? 3.5?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. But my point is, see, my math is all messed up. But my point is this, is that the goal that you're aiming for often dictates the level of commitment that you have to that. Okay. The way my training schedule to prepare my body, my mind for a marathon, I would have to consistently do something for a long period of time to get in that training. If I'm thinking about training for a 5K, it'll be a lot easier for me to train that because it's not as long to prepare for. It doesn't require as much consistency, right? So I can be consistent for 30 days, but I might have to be consistent for 60 days for a marathon, depending on where I'm at in my current level of conditioning, and adjust the goal to match what I'm trying to say. That the bigger the goal, the bigger the commitment. The bigger the goal, the greater the resourcefulness within yourself. When I set a bigger goal, a lot of times it requires me to become a bigger me. Figuring out your most powerful what out of all the stories you could tell, if you found the biggest, most impactful story you could tell, it's going to require you to become a bigger person, a more impactful person. That's what makes that simple strategy challenging. And people go around and they tell all sorts of stories, but they're not telling the most powerful one. And what that creates is a lack of authenticity and vulnerability and passion, which are the training for the stage. That's what creates the connection. Because we're trying to change behavior. You're trying to change lives when you speak on stage, yes or no?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're trying to change lives, that means that someone has to change their behavior, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So changing lives means changing behavior. How do I get someone to change their behavior? I have to either inspire them or motivate them. I have to push them, or I have to pull out of them what's already in them. Motivate or inspire. Okay. It doesn't matter if you train. Some people say train and develop. It's the same thing. I'm equipping you or I'm empowering you. Like it's the same thing. Inspire or motivate, train or develop. Okay. So in order for people to change, they have to trust. So I want to change lives by changing behavior. And the only way to change behavior is to get them to trust. How do I get them to trust? I get them to trust by actually getting them to believe. If I can get them to believe, I can get them to trust, and I can get them to change. How do I get them to believe?
With stories.
What does believing feel like? Belief feels like confidence. Belief feels like openness. Belief feels like happiness. Belief feels like joy. Belief feels like success, happiness, fulfillment. Oh, that's what belief feels like. Okay. Then
That's how you have to show up.
that's how you have to show up, but that's also the narrative you have to tell. That's the speech that you have to deliver.
Hmm.
And people are having a hard time figuring that out. So we're doing in marketing what I call spray and pray. We're just multiple messages all over the place. They're all different. I can talk about all these different things. But I think there's one main thing, one compelling narrative, one powerful story. And I think that's why my TEDx talk did 1.5 million views. It's because I got connected with what I'm telling you.
Cool. I really like that, man. So I'm gonna go watch your TEDx talk right now.
Yeah, go watch mine and then go do your own.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
How do you do? Do you apply, or like how do you do your
Yeah.
TEDx talk?
You can go apply, go to TED.com, look up events, submit an idea, record a video, send it to them, go be a TEDx speaker.
It's very easy, right? Yeah.
It's
most people
simple.
are not doing it because they don't
it's
have the
simple,
belief.
not easy. It's simple, not easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because getting on the stage is one part, but what are you going to share when you get on the stage?
Mm-hmm.
You've got one message, one shot, not 20 messages, one shot. What are you going to share? Are you sure that's what you want to share? Are you sure that's the story you want to tell? Are you sure that's the way you want to speak? Are you sure that's how you want to be remembered? If that's the last speech you ever gave, is that how you want to be remembered?
Holy shit. Probably not, man.
Exactly.
The one that I told you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not.
And when you find that is how you, there's speakers who charge a fee and there's speakers who command one. I can charge a fee because I know the market. I command a fee because I have the message.
Nice.
And then when you put both, you know the market and you have the message, it's game over. That's how you become a Simon Sinek and Brene Brown. I like to think of myself as a Darryl Stinson.
Cool. All righty. Awesome. I loved it, man. So, all right, man. So I have 5 questions for you. You know, we're almost out of time, and the first question is, if you could give your 20-year-old self some advice, what would that be?
Do the opposite of what you're thinking of.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
I did terrible things in my 20s. Yeah. I'll tell myself literally, do the opposite of what you're thinking of doing.
Don't trust yourself.
Hey, yeah, don't trust your conditioned, your patterned, your traumatized self. No.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Trust your divine, your true who you were before you got hurt self. Yes.
Cool. All right. Awesome. And we didn't get into the story, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let's see. Mindset. So what is one mindset shift that you can share that you think has contributed to your success?
What the mind can conceive, the man can achieve. Conceive it in your mind, achieve it with your daily life.
What the man can conceive.
What the mind
All
can
right.
conceive.
All right. The man can
The
achieve.
man just mean the person.
Yeah.
But it's a, it's a little riddle or a rhyme.
Yeah.
A proverb, what the mind can conceive, the man can achieve.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So that's the mindset shift. And awesome. Map. Do you have any advice for people who may need or lack clarity on, their vision?
Yes. Reverse engineer your pain. Most people who can't see their vision, it's because they're in too much pain. So follow the pain until you see the promise. Meaning, if I've been hurt and I'm angry and I can't see hope, go into that anger until you find the hope on the other side of that. Allow yourself to experience the anger and then think, what's the opposite of this feeling? And then make that your vision. That's how
Yeah.
you get clarity.
Nice. Mindset, map, motion. What is one habit that you have right now, Darryl, that you think contributes to your success?
Meditation and meditation and community, accountability. I know that's 3.
That's good.
I've
Yeah.
got a lot of good habits.
Okay.
Yeah.
But meditation was the first one. Do you meditate a lot every single day, or how do you do that?
Yeah, I do. It's different. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 30 minutes. I'm trying to get to a point where it's an hour, but it helps me to become present so that I can consciously choose in my life. I start to recognize the difference between me and my thoughts, me and my patterns, me and my fears. And then I start to see who I really am on the inside at my best self. And then I just make decisions according to that best self.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Mindset, map, motion, measure. What do you think about measuring and tracking?
What do I think about measuring and tracking? I'm so thankful that I have team members that do that.
Yeah. But it's important, right? Like you gotta get someone to do it.
Yeah, but I do measure and track. I play the only game that there is for me to play is the game with myself. Of am I consciously showing up at the way that I show up? Am I being the man that I set out to be? Am I feeling the way that I want to feel? Am I giving myself permission to rest and to have fun and to explore? Am I taking care of my responsibility? Am I paying my bills? Am I leading my family, my community? Am I being my best self in all areas, emotionally, physically, spiritually, socially, and financially? The answer is yes, then cool. The answer is not yet, then make changes. Read a book, listen to a podcast,
Yeah.
watch a TEDx talk, deliver a TEDx talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool, man. So yeah. So you have a book, right? Who am I after sports, right? This is an athlete's roadmap to discover new purpose and live fulfilled, right? Can you like briefly tell why is it like what led you to write that book?
Um, yeah, I'll tell you briefly. I started having conversations with people, and I noticed that. Let me backtrack. I dreamed my entire life of being an athlete, and I got so close to the point where within 2 years I could have probably entered into the NFL draft, and I got hurt. And because I thought that that was my life, my everything, I didn't know who I was outside of that dream. And so I asked myself the question, who am I after sports? I talked a little bit earlier in the podcast how that lack of answers and then having that question, the lack of answers to that question put me in a depression that caused me to question, well, why am I here? If sports was over, then maybe my life was over too. And um, those depressing thoughts caused me to start having thoughts about suicide. And so I started to attempt suicide multiple times. And I would try to drink and get in accidents. I tried to overdose. My last attempt was in a car. Thankfully, I was unsuccessful and I ended up in that psychiatric unit. And that's where my life changed.
Cool. Or well, not well. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Cool. Right.
Sorry. I was trying
Um.
to be short.
But no. Yeah. Keep on going. Like you left me like hanging from a cliff.
Well, the cliff, there's no cliff. It's just people are like, whoa, he's been through that. How did you change it? Um, Daily decisions, getting in touch with the vision, like we said, cultivating the connection. When I felt like I was ashamed that I did this, I was ashamed that I failed, that I didn't think that I was as good at speaking as I was at sports. Like when I was going through all of these insecurities and working through the years of family trauma, going to therapy sessions, like every time I felt like I wanted to quit, I just told myself these stories. I did this stuff consistently. I just got outside and I ran and I exercised. I thanked God and I lifted my hands. I got out in nature. I looked at my family, my daughters, my 3 daughters or 2 daughters at the time, or 1 daughter at the time. I looked at my daughters and I got so grateful that it brought me to tears. And the more grateful I became, the better my life came, the brighter my life became, even instantly in that moment. And I started to see more colors versus see more black and white. And life started day by day getting better. I got better at speaking. I got better at being a husband. I got better at being a father. And I'm still on that journey.
Yeah. So daily actions. So then that's your book. We can find it on Amazon, right? We have the info to, people who are trying to find new purpose and live a life fulfilled, right? They can get that. So man, if people want to know more about you, right, and anything that you got going on and you're speaking and how is it that you help people turn their message into a movement, where can they go and find you? Where's the best place?
If you can get in my 5,000 friends, my personal Facebook's the best. That's where I'll be the most vulnerable. It's where I have the most freedom. That's Darryl Stinson, my first and last name. I'm always hit my limit. So I just constantly unfriend and friend new people. So just send me a request there. And then the other place is just all of my other socials. Probably Instagram is the best, the second best. And so at Stinson Speaks. But I'm everywhere.
Got it. Well, awesome, man. Well, that's it. Do you have anything else that you want to mention? Do you want to say?
Go be great. Go share your story. Sharing your story is one of the most powerful things you can do, because your story is your life. And sharing your life and the lessons you learned along the way is the good life.
Awesome, man. So thank you very much, Darryl. I had fun, and I'll see you later, man. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms